welcome to Your Town. I'm Jess, and I'm really excited to invite two new nonprofits on to talk today to let you know about what features are available in this community, what services are available in this community for you or people you may know, family or friends that have some issues that they could have some great help from great organizations right here in the Upper Ohio Valley. And first joining me are two guests from the YWCA. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Would you go ahead and introduce yourself to folks at home?
Sure. I'm Jennifer Sorg, and I'm the Family Violence Prevention Program Director here at the YWCA.
All right.
I am Becky Lanham, and I am the Residential Coordinator at the YWCA.
Okay, well, thank you both for joining. And I know I've seen you around. You guys are very, very busy and working to, there are lots of great causes. I don't want to say the best cause, but I certainly am very passionate about the programs at the YWCA. For people at home who may not be familiar with some of the programs available, what does the YWCA do for this community?
Well, the YWCA, we have different programs here that really strengthen and empower the women in our community. We have a domestic violence shelter in Wetzel and in Ohio County. We also have the WIN program, which is a residential recovery program for women. And it's a 6 months, 3-phase program, which we've seen great things come out of it. We work along with the drug courts here in Wheeling. And we have our boutique, which is great. We can provide clothing, business wear, different opportunities for employment for women to dress nice and carry a nice bag into an interview. We also open it up to the community for a very low cost as well to try to just support that mission. We also, we actually just have like someone here for resources. If an individual walks in, male or female, that just needs a little bit of encouragement, needs to know where resources are, we are here for that as well. Is there anything else that you can think of?
The domestic violence has court advocates that can help any victim that is in need of DVPO, someone to sit with them through court to let them know what the procedure is. We also have teen dating violence advocates in the schools in Ohio County, Marshall County, and Wetzel County. We also have the cultural diversity director, Ron Scott. He goes out into the community and explains and helps educate people on culture. And what else do we have? That's it.
We also have the human trafficking. I'm sorry, we do so much here that it's just that sometimes we don't always think. We just kind of like jump in where it's needed. But actually, our shelters also help with our human trafficking. I know that's a big subject in Ohio County right now. And we help educate the community on that. We're actually going hand in hand with some other individuals in our city that it's a concern. But we also have a shelter for those individuals that are experiencing human trafficking. And there's definitely education that we can put out to our schools and to our community as well.
Right.
So again, lots of programs, not only to help individuals going through or that are in certain situations where they could use the help, but also from an education component. So if you're someone who doesn't believe that you have someone that qualifies for assistance through the YW, that education component is that preventative type of component, or that, you know, making everybody aware that it's happening and what it actually means. I know for a long time, human trafficking was seen as something other than what it really is happening in this community. And there was a lot happening that most folks didn't realize really was in our backyard. It sounded, when you say trafficking, it sounds like, you know, moving people from one place to another, not necessarily somebody who could be your next door neighbor and have children and trafficking them. So the education component is important. So if you are somebody who knows someone that is in need of any of these services, please contact the YWCA. But also, if you're in charge of any type of group setting at all, or know a group available that these topics could be of use, please let them know. I know you talked about dating violence last time. We had a conversation with the YW about the dating violence situation in this community. Is again, probably bigger than most people would realize. And the education component there can really put kids and parents in a path to recognize that right away, instead of having a child suffer for however long the relationship lasts with that type of violence. So thank you for highlighting all of those for everybody watching. So let's dive into anything special you have right now. We're in the month of October. Any certain features? There's sometimes, something of the month. Does that impact your organization? And then any special events coming up?
Absolutely. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And last week we started the month off with a vigil in Marshall County. We had Prosecutor Joe Canestraro speak, and it was very nice. And then this week we're doing a walk in New Martinsville at the Wetzel County municipal buildings, excuse me. That's at noon. And next week, the 20th, on Friday, we're doing Strike Out Domestic Violence. And that will be at the St. Clairsville bowling lanes from 6:30 to 8:30. And we're doing free bowling within that time and we are collaborating with Tri-County. That is also another nonprofit there in St.
Yeah,
Clairsville.
so if you want to call St. Clairsville Lanes, you can reserve a lane for you, and it's already paid for, and you can bowl for free.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. My background's in bowling. Don't know if you did any research on my big bowling career. Just kidding. But I think that's great. It's a nice way to, I say this about fundraisers all the time. It's a nice way to get people out to talk about the mission in a casual setting, have people support it, and offering free bowling to people to come out to be involved in that is wonderful. So I'm glad that you guys are doing that event. Sounds fun.
And then in Ohio County, to close out our month, it is Thursday, October 26th at noon. We're having Domestic Violence Awareness Walk downtown here. And we will be, we'll have resources down there. We'll have a table set up. We can talk about domestic violence and many other things that we have here. And it's going to be down at the Heritage Court down in Wheeling. And hopefully that you guys can come and join us and walk for domestic violence.
Great. And what's the date for that one again?
That is October the 26th.
Okay, awesome. So if people want to get involved from a fundraiser standpoint or reach out about any of the services you've discussed, what's the best way to go about reaching out to you guys?
Well, if they would call our number at 304-232-0511, you can get our front desk or anyone that kind of picks up the phone here and kind of chips in. We are able to answer that or send you to the person that will be able to answer any questions that you have or give you any resources that you need. And then we also have the website that is the YWCA Wheeling. And you'll be able to get on there and you can see all the things that we have to offer. Some of the classes I know that she mentioned, like Ron Scott and different individuals that are going into the school systems. There's different things that they offer. So even if your school or organization has any of those needs or concerns and wants to be educated, you can kind of look up and kind of see what we offer there as well.
Okay, great. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. You just mentioned resources and how they're available. It takes special people to have the tough conversation. But say you are somebody at home and this strikes a chord with you of somebody that you know, a friend or family member who may be suffering through one of the certain situations that you talked about. We'll touch on domestic violence. Putting you on the spot here, but what's a good way to start that conversation, or is the best way to start the conversation to reach out to you all?
Yeah, I think I mean, either way, I guess you're comfortable the way that you're comfortable with that individual. But I mean, you definitely can reach out to us and we can have those difficult conversations. But I think the most part is that we have to try to give them those resources, but also kind of get behind them and support them in whatever decision they make. So when that opportunity does come for maybe them to leave or them to use that resources, that they know that it's available, and then that us as a family member or community member can support them through that.
Okay. Great answer. It's an unfortunate organization to have, but we're so fortunate to have the YW and all of you lovely people that work inside that organization to address all the needs and all the concerns in the community. It's very comforting to know that that type of assistance is available. So thank you all so much for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Jess.
All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we go?
No, thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. I really appreciate, us getting out there. And again, if anybody has any questions, just feel free to call in. And if we don't have it here, I'm sure we can find the resource for you that you need.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And I'm going to come out to some of your events this month. There's a lot going on, so I'll try to make it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.
Welcome back to Your Town. I'm Jess Ryan. Happy to introduce you to a lot of great organizations throughout the community and some fun special events going on for a great cause. A friend of mine, Sharon Kesselring's here with us from the American Red Cross. I'm so excited to see you, Sharon. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good morning. It's not quite the beautiful day that we had somewhat over the weekend, but still it's a great day.
It is fall, and that does make for West Virginia couldn't be more gorgeous than it is right now. It's just rainy, cloudy. We'll get through some of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's talk about all things American Red Cross. For people who don't know the general mission and maybe have seen the logo or heard things here or there or seen vehicles on the road, let's just give a good overview of American Red Cross and how they help West Virginia and the rest of the country.
So let's start with our mission. It's American Red Cross's mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of the volunteers and the generosity of our donors. So most folks know us when you ask them what they know about Red Cross, they'll say blood, and yes, that's an important part of us. And we do supply 40% of the nation's blood supply, but we also do so many other things. One of those is disaster relief. And that is something that unless it happens to you, you just aren't sure of what might happen. So for instance, let's say it's 3 a.m. and your house suddenly catches on fire. You manage to evacuate along with your family members, but you're standing out there watching everything you own burn down to the ground. The firefighters are working hard to save what they can, but it's just gotten away and they can't save much of anything. What do? That's where Red Cross comes in. And Red Cross volunteers are available 24/7 to help reach out to you, to help, first of all, make sure that your family's in a safe and secure place for the evening. Make sure that you have access to new things to wear, because you may have just escaped your home with nothing more than your nightgown on. And even more importantly, what if you lost all your life-saving medications in that fire? So this is the type of activity that the caseworker does with you. Our volunteers can meet you right there at the scene of the fire, or if you prefer, they'll wait till the next morning after making sure you're in a nice, safe place for the night and take care of your immediate family needs. So that type of activity people may not be aware of unless they've actually used us, but it's something that is totally available in this community, and we want to make sure everybody is aware of it.
That's great. So,
yeah.
Sharon, if I could, are there resources on your website for people? You mentioned medication, and I don't know that a lot of people just keep a list of medication on them. And I mean, obviously, if you pay enough attention you have a good relationship with your doctor, or use any of those type of apps, you might have that. Is there any packet of information of in case of emergency type of list that folks can keep either on their person or somewhere that would be safe to use for a situation like that?
Absolutely. If you go to redcross.org, you'll be able to find preparedness information on there. And that's one of the topics for preparedness. It's not just how you can help make your family safe, but it's what can you have available to you. And we encourage, for instance, a 3-day emergency pack. And that would include things about important papers, making sure that you have what you need in case of emergency. It sits by the door and you just grab it as you go out the door then. if a firefighter were to come down your street and say, it's 4 a.m. and there's a gas leak in the neighborhood and you need to get out now. And so you go ahead and evacuate, like they say, but what if you didn't have those essential items, those 3 days of medication, change of clothes, closed-toed shoes, things like that. And that's what the list goes over with you to make sure that you have what each member of your family might need in a 3-day bag, your emergency kit. So that access is right there on redcross.org. Did you know, Jess, that we helped 200 families within our chapter, Ohio River Valley chapter last year because of disasters? Yeah. So that equals, approximately 600 people. But yeah, 200 families. So yeah, it's a busy time for us always. And we're now in October, which is Fire Prevention Week's held this week. So a lot of people are getting reminded about it when their kids are in school, and the kids have the activity of emergency evacuations. But this is the time to go ahead and prepare your family. Another way to be prepared is to have working smoke alarms, which is another activity that Red Cross does in the community. You may be aware that we just had a blitz throughout Ohio County where we worked with multiple fire departments and managed to install, I want to make sure I get my numbers right here. We installed 128 alarms in one day between the firefighters and the volunteers working together. That served 91 people working or living in 38 homes. So that doesn't sound like perhaps as big as it could have been, but trust me, that's on top of the 700 smoke alarms that we installed across our chapter last year. So it's an awful lot that we do, especially during this month, making sure that people are as safe as you can be. If your smoke alarm is 10 years or older, don't trust it. Even if it still goes beep, 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 don't trust it. The sensor may not work. And you can't have a fire in your house just to see if the sensor is going to work and set it off. So what we do is install free of charge for folks 3 to 4 smoke alarms in their home, in strategically placed areas of the home, to make sure that everyone's as safe as possible so that they can hear the alarm and get out even in the middle of the night. We not only do that, but we also provide fire escape planning for your family so that your family can have that plan to get out. You have less than 2 minutes to get out of your house in the event of a fire. But we've been doing this since 2014, installing free smoke alarms. We've now installed over 2 million across the nation free of charge, and have saved 2,000 lives as a result. It's just an amazing program. But that's not all we do.
On that note, Sharon, every time you come on the show, every time I see you, every time you speak about this, I always think, when did I have those installed? Do I have them installed again? And we just moved into a new home. And I know that there's already a carbon monoxide detector plugged in downstairs, but now I have to go through. It didn't even occur to me. I've only been there a couple of weeks, thankfully, but didn't even occur to me. And I knew 3 people that had home fires in the Upper Ohio Valley last year. So while we don't want to invoke fear, of course, it doesn't hurt to be prepared. All of those folks made it out unscathed. They're all very, healthy and moving into new homes. And it's obviously emotionally very trying, but they were able to get out. So very important. Don't take this lightly. When Sharon comes on here and tells you this is a great opportunity for you, again, all those resources available online, but also to check your own, think about the last time that you changed them and make sure that you're updating that. Okay. Check the box on that one. I'm writing it down for myself for later today to stop at the start of the way home. So, okay. Next up, that's not all, she said.
That's right, because we also have preparedness education, of course, for children in schools. But a lot of people don't realize we do this unless they've actually been in the military. We work very, very well with service to armed forces needs, not only with those that are currently in the military, active military families, but we are the emergency communication system between them and their service people serving anywhere in the world. But also we work with retired military. So we do an awful lot. And in fact, last year we actually had 400 critical care cases that we worked with. Most of them were actually with retired military, but some of them were with active military. And as a result, our volunteers stayed pretty busy working that branch of our service. So yeah, that's something else that we do. But of course, We do CPR, first aid training, learn to swim. Over 5,000 in the chapter were trained in some fashion last year through those types of classes. So if you haven't been certified in the past couple of years, make sure and give us a call and get into a class and get recertified, because your certification only lasts for 2 years. If you have babies in the house, you really should take pediatric CPR from us and first aid, so that you know what to do in the event of an emergency. And like I said, we also taught a lot of preparedness education last year. Over 2,000 students, most of them in the northern part of my chapter, were provided with preparedness education. So my chapter stretches as far south as Jackson, West Virginia, Jackson County, West Virginia, all the way up to Hancock, West Virginia, and 15 counties in West Virginia. And then I have 4 counties in Ohio. So right across the river there from you, we have Jefferson and Belmont and Monroe and Washington counties in Ohio. Big county. It takes a lot of volunteers to make this happen. So there's only 3 of our dedicated staff available to our chapter. And then we have some support staff throughout the region. But 3 of us for 19 counties, we have to rely on volunteers. And in fact, across the nation, 90% of the workforce or better is volunteer staff. So if anything that I've talked about this morning is something that would interest viewers, we want to make sure they give us a call and let us know that they want to volunteer. We'll get them signed right up and figure out what form of service they like to do best. I like to say that I can offer you a 2 to 3 week all expenses paid trip to a tropical area, which may not have any power, and you may be sleeping in a big FEMA tent with 200 brand new friends you've never slept with before, but you'll never work so hard nor enjoy so much the service that you provide when you deploy, nor even when you stay here at home. And volunteering is just a way of life at Red Cross. We love what we do. It's a passion, and there's always something that you would find so enjoyable to do at Red Cross.
So how would you mentioned to give you a call. So is that the best way to contact, is to pick up the phone?
304-488-5279 is my cell number. It comes directly to me. I tend to be on it a lot, so just leave me a voicemail if you get my voicemail. So yeah, I'm happy to talk with anyone about any of these lines of service that we talked about today, or about volunteering.
Okay, great. And how many volunteers do you have, Sharon?
So it varies, but for the most part, within our chapter, we have about 150 volunteers right now. But that covers all the lines of service: blood services, disaster services, services to armed forces, even in training services. So yeah, it's across the lines of service. The majority of our volunteers are in disaster services, but we don't have enough volunteers. Our volunteers, like I say, are on call 24/7. We try to allow them to just sign up for like a week at a time, to be available a week at a time, and then have a few weeks off. But sometimes we have to overwork them a little bit because we're running out of volunteers. We get them too tired. It was a crazy summer with all the disasters. And some of our local volunteers do like to deploy, so we need to be able to backfill them with local volunteers again. So that's why it's so important that we're constantly moving through volunteers.
Okay, great. Well, the work that you do, again, I feel like I have to say this for every one of them, the disclaimer of it's unfortunate that we need these services.
I agree.
It's like disaster relief, but the preventative side of the Red Cross is so important to the community, and the amount of lives, I don't know if that's a number that you can even estimate, but with even the fire extinguishers and giving blood and holding those fairs, I mean, it's an immeasurable number of lives saved because of the organization that you run, Sharon.
That's exactly right. 8,000 units is what we collected in blood last year. That's a lot of lives saved. That's a lot of lives saved that the Ohio Valley has really put forth the effort, an hour of their time, to give the gift of life and make sure that people have the blood when they need it. We're just starting to build back out a critical appeal. We hadn't been in a critical appeal for over a year. It hit us again because August was too low on donors. So we're just starting to build back up. Give the gift of life. We need folks to go ahead and make those appointments and give blood right now.
Right, and that's the lives saved just from giving blood, not including all the disaster relief, not including all the CPR training that would have a hard time even tracking the people that have
Right.
had the training, that have had to utilize it in the community, and with everything that you do for fire preparedness. Just an excellent organization, and it's always a pleasure to hear from you and talk to you and find out what you guys have going on.
Thanks so much. It's just a joy to work here and work with everybody. Get to meet so many people, get to meet you. So, it really is a joy. And I've been doing it now for 33 years, and I hope to be able to do it for a few more years yet. We just count on everybody to help us out, though. We can't do it without you.
All right, well, there you go. There's your appeal. There's a lot of ways that you can get involved there, even if it's preparing your own family and friends for disaster. So thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you for all you do. Thank you to all the volunteers for American Red Cross and everything you do to help. If you have a little bit of time and want to volunteer, certainly a worthy cause to do so.
Thanks, Jess. I'll pass that message along to the volunteers.
Yes, please do. All right, thank you so much for joining us. You heard from two incredible organizations in this community that do such great work in saving lives in their own respective industries. And I'm so grateful to live in this community where we have such passionate people running organizations in this community to help our neighbors and our families make this Ohio Valley a great home. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next week.
Hi, my name is Craig Bober. I'm a senior finance major at West Liberty University, and today I'm going to be showing you what it's like to be a part of this program. Heading to my first class of the day, investment portfolio analysis with Professor Jess.
We're going to start off doing some current events, and then we're going to look at evaluating some stocks, figuring out the intrinsic value. We're going to do Knight, Tyson, Disney, and waste management. We need to make some investments with the investment club.
The finance program at West Liberty is an exceptional experience. In the program, there are amazing teachers that always make class fun and engaging. A new student enrolling in the program should expect a personable learning experience when you're engaging in classroom activities and building relationships with your teachers and classmates. I chose the major in finance because of my interest in the finance world and my want to pursue a career in business. My goals after graduating are to become a certified financial planner and help people achieve their retirement and savings goals. Heading to my second class of the day, Management Capstone with Dr. Rocchio.
So part of what we've been doing over the last several weeks was looking at the internal and external factors of the companies that you had chosen to research.
This major is good for others to consider because of the quality of education you receive and the relationships you build with the people in the business department. Professionally, with a finance degree, you have many different career options like banking, insurance, financial planning, or even tax services. I chose West Liberty University because I did not want to go far from home, but I still wanted to be away. Personally, what I like most about West Liberty is the great people that live here. West Liberty Business program attracts many people from different countries, so this provides you with a unique and diverse learning environment being here. We're going to be heading into the investment club meeting.
So as we talked about, here's our current portfolio allocation. So we still have about $5,000 left, so we need to make some investments.
The Investment Club is a student-ran club that is sponsored by WesBanco, where we use real money to buy stocks and bonds to build a class portfolio. This club is a great place to learn about the stock market and how investing works. All the decisions that we make regarding our portfolio are voted on by all the members of the club. And now for my last class of the day, my finance capstone with Professor Jesse. West Liberty's Finance Capstone is unique because it is a CFP board-registered program, which is something that not all colleges offer. In this course, we learn about topics like ethics, retirement planning, tax planning, and risk management, which prepares us for the CFP exam. And now we're going to cap off the day with playing some basketball with my friends. Being a student athlete, there are many challenges that come with it, but the rewards far outweigh them. Through my 4 years of playing football here, I learned many valuable life skills and have built friendships that will last a lifetime. Thanks for coming along with me today, and for more information, just visit our website.